Hi there, it's Sandra from Savvy Teaching Tips. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about number sense and how to explain it to parents. Don't forget to like and subscribe below if you like what you see, and please ring that bell so you get updates on all my latest videos. So today we're going to talk about how to explain number sense to parents. One of the most important parts about teaching math is number sense. When I meet with the parents in the fall and I try to explain to them that the topic we're covering at that point is number sense, I can just see their eyes glaze over, they don't understand it, and they don't realize how important it is. But basically, number sense is a person's ability to understand, relate, and connect to numbers. And those skills are what people who are good at math do intuitively. So we need to try and make sure kids have a strong foundation in that in order to be successful at math. Children with good number sense can make connections between numbers quickly. This means that they can visualize numbers and talk about what they know about numbers. Number bonds help with this. Now, number bonds are, I'll draw a really quick number bond here. So I've got a 5, big 5 in a circle, and then 2 lines coming out and 2 smaller circles, and I've got the number 2 and the number 3. Those are number bonds. 3 plus 2 equals 5, 2 plus 3 equals 5, 5 minus 3 equals 2, 5 minus 2 equals 3. All those numbers are connected, and when I draw the number bond like that, I can immediately see that relationship. That set of 4 equations is also called a fact family, which is something that needs to be drilled into their heads in grade 2 and 3. This skill can be applied to more complex computations the older they get. So being able to understand that the 2 smaller numbers add together to make the bigger number, and the bigger number take away one of the smaller numbers is another smaller number. That relationship is important when kids are starting to figure out word problems, because they need to figure out if I'm going to do a subtraction question and take things away to get a smaller number, that's how you figure out how to get the answer. So kids who have strong number sense are very good at mental math or computing in their mind. They don't need to use a paper and pencil as much, which can slow them down. So being able to do mental math is a good way to make them solve problems more quickly. And number sense can really help them relate numbers to the world. So this is where the importance of number problems in math is. Number problems, or word problems, sorry, that's what I mean. Word problems they show children how to use numbers in their daily lives. So making those connections for numbers in their real life is also going to increase math comprehension. So number sense is important for young math learners. It builds confidence and it encourages flexible thinking. It gives children the vocabulary that they will need to talk about numbers and their relationships to each other. So a number is greater than, a number is less than. We have more, we have fewer. All of those vocabulary words are important when a child is trying to describe their knowledge of math. So if you have a first grader, things that you could do to encourage number sense. So like as a teacher, you could bring math into the everyday world. So we could say, okay, we're going down the hall, class, and let's estimate how many steps it is from our classroom to the library. So from our classroom door to the library, how many steps are you going to take? We're going to count quietly. But right now, before we go, does anybody have an estimation that they would like to tell me? And then you take numbers from the kids. And you can even write them down. And then when you get back from the classroom, or when you get to the library, you can talk to them about that. Who was closest? When you're teaching in front of the class and you want to talk about number sense, you could model numbers in different ways. So seeing numbers represented in different ways helps kids build number sense. So looking at the numbers in a deck of cards and being able to instantly tell you what they are without counting the dots. So you could just have a deck of cards you could flip over. Who knows this one? And a little game that works really well for kindergarten and grade 1, which I don't know why. You flip the card over, and if they get the card, they get to hold the card. And even better, they can come to the front and hold the card. I mean, they just love that, and it's so easy to do, and it makes it, they're all like, oh, I want my turn to hold the card and stand at the front of the room. So anyway, you can do that. If you want to include everybody, then you're going to make sure that you have enough room for everybody to be standing at the front of the room. Another thing you can do is visualizing ways to see numbers. So for example, if you're trying to kill, this is a good 5-minute time filler. We're waiting in line and we don't, the bell's about to ring, but the bell hasn't rung yet. What are we going to do? Let's see. I'm going to say, okay, when I see the number 10, I see in my mind 2 dice, and both dice have 5 dots on them. So that makes 10 dots. So that's how I see the number 10. And somebody else might say, I have an idea. I see a full 10 frame. Perfect. I see a box of pencils. There's 10 pencils in a box of pencils. That sort of thing. Building connections between numbers and the real world. So another suggestion is when you're teaching math, think about it more of an open-ended question. Instead of specifically saying, what is 6 plus 4? Say, what are some ways to make 10? That gives kids the chance to give you lots of different ways to make 10. And then they will see how other children make 10 and build those relationships. Because, 5 and 5 is 10. That's so easy. But 7 and what's 7 plus? Oh, 7 plus 3. That's what it is. That's how we make 10. So, and if you're getting to older children, you can ask, who can make 8 with 3 numbers? First you'll say, who can make 8? And they might say, 7 plus 1. Great. Who can make 8 but use 3 numbers? 2 plus 3 plus 3. Right. That makes 8. But it's 3 numbers. Or another one like, what is 10 more than 22? And then they have to think, they can visualize the hundreds chart, what comes underneath 22, or they can just look at the 10s and 1s and go, well, the first 10, the 10 has to change to the next number 2 to 3, so the answer is 32. And here's the part that I find really interesting. Then get the kids to try and explain it back to you. Explain your thinking. What did you mean? How did you get that answer? Always find that fascinating, and it's really good for the kids to be able to review through their mind what their strategies were and be able to explain them to you. Something else that kids who are good at number sense can do is they can solve problems mentally. So encourage your students to use mental math. I think I said this before, but it's faster, there's less writing, and it's usually more accurate. So if you know that 6 plus 6 is 12, and you know that 6 plus 7 is 13, how did you do that? Well, I used my double, 6 plus 6. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 1 more is 13, so it can't be 6 plus 6, it's 6 plus 7, because 7 is 1 more than 6. And that's a great way to help build number sense. Strong number sense builds a strong foundation for mathematical understanding. If you focus on number sense, it helps build the foundation necessary to compute and solve more complex problems. I said that before. So if you're working with older students, like I've said before, this year I'm teaching a 2nd grade, 3rd grade split class. I have 11 kids and 12 kids of those grades. Part of number sense for these grades is a solid understanding of skip counting. Skip counting is really good and helpful when doing multiplication. So what I do with these kids every day when we do our morning calendar routine, which I will do another video on in the future, when I do that, we do a lot of songs, skip counting songs. 2nd graders also need a solid understanding of place value to 100. This means knowing all about how to use 10s and 1s, and draw that little chart with the 10s and the 1s and which one fits on each side, and the hundreds later in the year. In order to do addition to 100, they need to have a solid understanding of 10s and 1s. 3rd graders need this further. They're doing addition with 3 numbers, addition and subtraction to 1,000, so they might also need to know that thousands place, so all 4 of the spots in the place value. So what I mean is, like, if they have the number 4,356, the 3 represents 300. It doesn't represent 3. A good way to sort of teach this and visualize it is using base 10 blocks. I mean, that's exactly what they're designed to do. You can see that 1 is 1, 110 is this, and 100 is, the flat, and then 1,000 is the cube. Kids find that fascinating. But I like to mix up my manipulatives, right? Like, okay, we can do it with base 10 blocks, but what else can we use? Well, something that's really perfect for this is money. Now, money doesn't give you that visually, it's getting bigger, but kids intuitively often understand a lot about money. And I know the longer I teach, the less reliant on cash we are, but there's just something really enticing for kids to touch money. So what I have done over the years is gone to the dollar store and collected a whole bunch of money. And here in Canada, our bills are all different colors. So, you know, the blue bill is it's 500 pennies. And the purple one is 10. That's 1,000 pennies, you know, that sort of thing. So I've photocopied and made myself sets of these, and then I have all this. We can sit down and I'll say, okay, we need $11. How are you going to get $11? Well, you're going to have a 10 and a 1, right? So, or 2 5s and a 1. But all of these different things is a way of manipulating numbers. So that's it for today. Thanks a lot for stopping by and watching my video. Please check out my Facebook and my Instagram at Savvy Teaching Tips and my TikTok at Savvy Teaching. That's all for today, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.